Glug21 writes, "Hi Zay, 5 of my friends just got rejected from college. I didn't, but I still feel all of their pain. How do you deal with rejection and that of people you care about? And what can I tell them to make them feel better? We all watch a show and I feel like it would help us all." Sam, what a nice friend you are, and I'm sorry for what your friends are going through. Rejection is like a tied up little angry knot, and sometimes you have to shake it apart and look at all the little threads. This goes for all kinds of rejection, but for the moment we're going to focus on this kind of rejection. The first thing to shake apart is what was out of your control and what was in your control. In this situation, there was a group of people in a room all looking at applications together and deciding who to accept and who not to accept based on a whole bunch of criteria. All of this was out of your control. Maybe there was a bee in the room, maybe there were 2 bees in the room, maybe your name reminded someone of an ex-lover that used to leave the toilet seat up. Maybe there was a jackass in the room. Maybe they'd filled up all the slots of people similar to you. Maybe they were looking for a 6'2" man with large pectorals like me. Bad moods, times of day, bad coffee, the order of things, all out of your control. Now what was in your control? Your grades, your essay, your application in general. Those things were in your control at some point, and they might bring some feelings of regret. But the force of that regret can't really be applied to the past, only to the future, when you'll do it better next time. The next part of the tangled knot that you have to shake apart are the feels. If you're like me, when you get rejected, you start feeling some of the hard feels. They are normal and you're gonna have to ride them out, and they're gonna show up in no particular order. The tricky thing about these feels is that they're gonna ask to borrow words and shove them up into your brain parts. For example, these feels might include things like anger and indignation, which might use words like, "Fuck you, you stupid motherfuckers, I work my ass off on that application. You and your stuck-up institution could shove my application straight up your ass." Or shame, which might use words like, "I'm not good enough to be part of this world. This is further proof that I'm just a sack of shit. My friends and family are going to realize that I'm a piece of garbage that rats wouldn't even touch because of the smell of failure." There might be sadness and mourning. It hurts a lot when someone doesn't want me. I just want to be loved and included. I'd imagined a lot and hoped a lot out of this, and now it's not going to come true, and that reality crushes my stomach. Or maybe hopelessness and fear, which might say, "This pretty much signals the end, it's over. What's the point in trying when it just happens again and again? The universe needs a urinal too, and I just happen to have been born right where that fly is painted on the side." Now those feels are real, and they're normal, but a lot of times the words they use are pretty out of line with reality. And it's your job to figure out which ones are real and which ones aren't. Sometimes in the beginning when the feels are really big, you have to let them out in other ways than just thinking. For example, with anger, beat the shit out of a pillow. Or with things like sadness and shame, cry. But cry like you mean it. Let the snot show your chin who's boss. You did lose something, and there's grief around that, but you'll get over it. But your friends aren't all going to leave you, and this isn't the end of the road, and the universe is not conspiring against you. Some people get comfort out of the words, "it was meant to be." I don't know, that's a bit convenient for me, but I will go with, "it was be," or "it just is." This is now your starting point, and it's time to figure out what to do next, and what you're going to do differently. And let me say something to you privately, just between me and you. Being rejected is kind of awesome. It means you're playing with your upper limits. A lot of people don't get rejected at all. They're playing it safe. I remember a guy in college that posted 20 different rejection letters that he got from business schools up on the wall, and we'd see him every day. I was proud of him. I don't know, those are just some thoughts. I hope they help. But rejection's a big part of life, and I hope you get rejected a bunch more, because it means you're trying your ass off. What about you? What advice would you give to someone who's facing rejection?
Oh, bye.